one of the most famous contact sports in the world. In the middle of the last century, with the beginning of the era of television, boxing acquired the status of the most popular martial art in the world. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the history of boxing from the perspective of the best boxing fights, which had a huge, epic-making significance in the history of boxing. These are legendary fights that filled huge stadiums, grabbed the attention of hundreds of millions of spectators, and forever changed the history of boxing itself. If you enjoyed watching this episode on our channel, please click the thumbs up and subscribe to the world of boxing. Here, we grab a sense of nostalgia and recall the best fights in the ring, which go down in the annals of boxing history. January 22nd, 1973, the 36,000-seat stadium in Kingston, Jamaica. World heavyweight champion Joe Frazier, 29, holds his fifth defense for his WBA and WBC titles. When Frazier won both titles, his championship was still called into question due to the fact that Muhammad Ali was currently barred from boxing for refusing to serve in the army. But for his second defense, Frazier met with Ali, who had returned to the ring, and Frazier inflicted Ali's first defeat in his career, knocking Ali down in the final round. After that, Frazier made two more defenses, and by the end of 1972, Big George Foreman was firmly established in the WBA and WBC. At 19, with an amateur record of 16-4, Foreman went to the Olympics in Mexico City, where he won the gold medal. In the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, Foreman defeated his rivals ahead of schedule. As for his professional career, in 3.5 years he won 37 victories, 34 of them by knockout, and did not suffer a single defeat. By the age of 24, he earned himself the reputation as the most terrifying boxer of that time.
Well, they're trying to psych each other out as Arthur McCanny makes his announcement. He's grown enormously now, and we may have an interesting evening. Frazier, quite understandably, the favorite. Foreman comes out punching with the right. Tremendous fighter. A great champion. You saw the left hook. Whip. Oh, Foreman connected, as you saw.
However, with all the advantages of Foreman, questions arose if these advantages would help him in his fight, since Big George has had no rivals of this caliber yet. But 1 minute and 45 seconds after the start of the fight, Foreman began to give clear answers to all the questions posed. Frazier was knocked down, but for Foreman, it was as if this fight was easy sparring, not a match against the undisputed world heavyweight champion. When it came time to continue, Foreman was ruthless.
Oh, that left is getting in there. Underneath. Frazier is dazed. He is getting hit again and again. Muhammad Ali. Frazier is dazed. You see the countdown for the first.
His bombing of Frazier lasted over 40 seconds and ended with a heavy uppercut.
It's all over, Joe Frazier. Frazier is down again, and he may be.
Joe Frazier gets up, but with great difficulty understanding what had happened, and soon finds himself on the floor for the third time. It is worth noting that the third knockdown occurred after the round had ended, but there was so much noise in the arena that it was simply impossible to hear anything. The referee, in the confusion, hesitated and discounted the knockdown, but then counted it.
Muhammad Ali was their hero. Now you're looking in slow motion. The right for the first knockdown. Slow-mo for the second knockdown. The right again. There was no question about the first round. 3 knockdowns.
The second round, Frazier begins as if nothing has happened. He is active in his body work and attacks with his famous left hook. But it doesn't last long. Foreman locks the opponent in the corner, and from that moment, the challenger simply beats the reigning champion, for whom defeat is rapidly approaching.
For the 4th time in the fight, George Foreman is doing to Joe Frazier what he did 68 in the Mexico City arena. A quick left from George. Another. Frazier is down for the 5th time in this fight. The second. McCanny checked his senses. Checked Frazier's senses. It's target practice for George Foreman. It is target practice. Frazier is ready to go again. Joe is standing there.
Suffering 6 falls in 2 rounds, Joe Frazier, demonstrating amazing will, gets up again. But referee Arthur Mercante decides to stop the fight and protect the boxer from a severe beating. At 24, George Foreman becomes one of the youngest world heavyweight champions. At the time, Foreman was 4th behind Floyd Patterson, Muhammad Ali, and Joe Louis. And Frazier was a favorite at 3.5 to 1 for this fight. But in the end, the fight in Jamaica was the last for Frazier in the status of the reigning world champion. But every great boxer always has the last great fight in store. For Foreman, the thriller in Manila was just 3 years away.